It's time, baby. It's time, baby. Welcome to Moore's Mentorship episode uno. Órale, wey, papi chulo, wey. But for real, I'm super hyped for this, bro. I've been thinking about doing this for a minute. Obviously, first things I want to do were get funded, get a payout. And then I wanted to get people, like, mentor people off camera. So, like, I don't know, less pressure, whatever it is. And I can also, like, refine what I'm going to teach. So I've done all that. I've been funded multiple times. I got my payout. And I did a mentorship for two people, got both of them funded. One of them has been funded multiple times. So now I want to do this publicly because I'm working with, instead of doing one person, instead of doing a one-on-one mentorship, I'm going to do it with 5 people. But I'm going to like keep the focus of the progress on one person. And the one person that I'm really going to focus on, I think his name is Remi. He said he's only been training for like a month or something stupid like that. Well, not stupid, but you know what I mean. Like he's been training for a month. So obviously like tracking his progress from literally nothing to getting him funded. We're going to get him payouts, things like that. That's going to be insane. But like, what I'm saying is, we're going to be mentoring them. But anyone who watches this video is basically going to be a part of the mentorship. Like, obviously, actually being in the mentorship, you're going to get access because I sit there and I give my ideas while market's open the entire time I'm trading. I don't do live calls. I don't like call outs and all that BS. But I'm giving you all my ideas without you like seeing it, so you have to find it yourself. But it's beneficial. But I mean, outside of that, you're pretty much getting the entire mentorship if you just watch the YouTube video. And it's all free, bro. Not a dime spent on any of this stuff. I'm just doing it for free. I like trading. I feel like I've gotten pretty good. And I also love teaching. So the fact that I know that I've taught 2 people and gotten them funded from what I've taught them, I want to do it for as many people as possible. So this is just episode 1. It's not really going to be anything. Like I ran a market review with them today, but that was just kind of like, because I had to start late, so someone couldn't make it to the class because like I was having technical issues. But it's just a market review. So that's not going to be in this video, but in this video, I'm just going to show you like what I'm covering with them for like the duration of the mentorship, what my goals are with them, and all that stuff. So let's get into it, baby. All right. So first things first, in the Discord, I have a section where I share my bias. I share like what my draws and liquidity are at the time, and then I share my executions. I mean, he'd be popping them in here when he's not supposed to, but this is for my executions. Then in this tab, I'm going to be showing my performance weekly. I feel like if I'm teaching people, it should be important for me to at least like show what I'm doing with my results. But this is where the dirty work's really done, bro. We're gonna have a section for homework after every single mentorship class. I did it with the first group of people, and it seemed to be really effective. Because instead of just sitting there and learning it, like I mean, everyone should be taking notes, but if you're not taking notes, instead of just sitting there and learning it, I'm making sure you apply it to the charts. And I literally like the rule is if everyone doesn't submit their homework unless they like give me a reason, we don't run the next class. So you have to do it. You have to actually learn and retain the information. So this is going to be pretty clutch. And then obviously I'm going to record all of the classes. They're all going to be on YouTube. I mean, you guys are going to watch it. And then this is the most important part, the scheduling. This is the content that I plan on covering. There is more that I'm going to be adding to it, like as I think of it, because there is like a decent bit that I want to teach. So obviously some of it's going to slip my mind. Like one thing that I am going to add, I guess I should add it right now. Should. Yeah, one thing I forgot to add was the market maker buy and sell models. So that's going to be in there. But for the most part, I have everything you need here. Like if I think of something, I'm going to add it. But as of right now, this is what I want to cover. So the first section is going to be the basics, obviously. Candle anatomy, learning what open, high, low, close are, what it actually means, like how the open of the candle being below it implies a discount, being above it implies a premium. Learning things like that, learning about dojis, learning when sellers are in control and when buyers are in control based on like the pattern of the candle. That stuff's pretty important. It's important for people to understand. I feel like open, high, low, close, and open, low, high, close, people skip over and don't want to understand as much for whatever reason. And then cover premium and discount. Premium and discount gets way deeper than just like equilibrium. So I'm going to cover everything there is to know, or at least everything that I know about premium and discount, because that's probably one of the most important concepts of trading, to be honest. Then covering liquidity and imbalances. I mean, everyone and their mama knows what liquidity is, but like covering imbalances, the different kinds of imbalances, like new week opening gap, new day opening gap, fair value gaps, just covering it all. And then from there, we're going to go into the fundamentals of time, not the super complex stuff like quarterly theory and things like that. Just going to start off with covering kill zones, the macros, I mean, that's pretty much it for like the fundamentals. If you're on time alone, if you're trading within the kill zones and focusing on the macros, like that's already going to make you pretty good. So starting off with the fundamentals, don't want to destroy their brains like too much off the rip. Then we get to the core. This is where it's gonna get pretty crazy, bro. Like I just did the market review, and I already know like the majority of them, like what I said, sound like a foreign language, bro. Like they thought I was speaking Chinese when all I said was relative equal highs and relative equal lows. You know what I mean? Like that's who we're dealing with right now. No shame to them. That's gonna make the series even better because we're literally gonna take them from like zero to just going crazy. But first things first, we're gonna cover PD arrays for sure because you need to know what PD arrays are, like a fair value gap and order block. We're going to cover more PD arrays than what's listed here, but it's just like to give an idea. But you need to know what PD arrays are to understand drawn liquidity, at least some of the concepts. And you also need to understand PD arrays and drawn liquidity together to understand order flow. So obviously I have to cover those two things first before I cover order flow. And we're going to dive pretty deep into top-down analysis. I feel like people really do suck at like incorporating the high time frame ideas and bias with your low time frame bias and entries. People really suck at that. So I want to focus on that. And then when it comes to like building a weekly outlook, I feel like people also, I'm not saying I'm the greatest at it, but something that I made sure I focused on as of like the past 2 months is really like building my weekly outlook and what I think certain days are going to do based off news. Because that stuff can really save you, bro. Like if you're not paying attention to news within your weekly outlook, like you're not going to know which days you should be more cautious or which days you shouldn't even trade at all or like what sessions you shouldn't trade at all. So building your weekly outlook with news in mind is super important. So I definitely want to have a whole section on that. I mean, top-down analysis and incorporating high time frame with low time frame are pretty much the same thing. I was kind of just spitballing when I put this list together, so I'm gonna end up combining those and like erasing one of these. And then, like I said, market maker buy and sell models, and then advanced time theories. So instead of just the fundamentals of time, we're going to get into things like quarterly theory, like the 10 a.m. candle, open high low flows, and how to incorporate that with entries and bias and things like that. That's when we'll start covering that stuff. And like technicals wise, this right here is like pretty much all you need. Like my goal isn't to be like the greatest ICT nerd of all time, bro. Like I want it to be as simple and as effective as possible. Like I don't want it to be so simple that it gives up the effective factor of it, but I also don't want to like overcomplicate trading to the point where like I hate it. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like the focus of what I'm teaching. It's keeping it as effective and simple as possible, and I feel like what I'm covering here really does that because outside of what's listed here, I don't really like think about anything else when I trade. So that would pretty much be it, like technicals wise. But going into like a section that's probably even more important, like I'm probably going to move the mentality section first, just because I want people prepared mentally for like what trading really is. So this section will probably come first. More than likely going to be the more valuable session. Talk about building trust with yourself. Nobody talks about that for whatever reason, but like I talk about it on TikTok all the time. People who like overtrade, over leverage, are people who just don't trust themselves after a loss, if you trusted yourself and you trusted your ability and you trusted your edge, you knew that you'd be profitable long term, you wouldn't feel like this compulsive need to just overtrade to make the losses back and be back in green on the day or like over leverage to try and make back all your losses in one trade because you know that you'd bring back your returns long term and be in the green. So if you trusted yourself, you would never do those things. So I'm definitely going to make sure I talk about that. And that kind of involves taking a loss, but taking a loss has like some risk management factors to it. It's not just, I wouldn't say it's just mental, but there are things that you need to do when you take a loss. And knowing how to take a win as well, like not letting a win get to your head, not letting that like control your decisions, or not letting a win make it to where the next time you lose, you just feel like just out of it. You know what I mean? Making sure I keep your head small because a lot of you guys got big ass heads. Then I would say probably the second most important section, the lab. So learning how to actually like incorporate the technicals that you learned on a chart so that it's engraved and internalized. Because if you don't know how to like properly learn, then you're all this is a waste. So definitely gonna teach how to learn. How to properly backtest, like properly note taking and all that stuff is super important. Gonna cover that. Gonna cover how to tape read. Gonna cover how to like read order flow live and how to annotate it so that it's like something that you can actually use in your brain. Because like if you have a model, it's like it's easy to just watch price action because you're just looking for your model. But watching price action to with the sole purpose of sitting there and noting what price is doing every time it moves, that is a skill set. That is something that needs to be practiced and learned. And then outside of that, I'm probably going to teach how to throw that shit back. I mean, I'm probably going to have like a 3 hour long lesson on this one, and you know what I mean? I'll probably go in there and do it one time as an example, but realistically, I'm going to get all the guys in there to like do it in unison. And, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to really enjoy that part. I might move that one first, and then I might double it and do it again at the end, just so like I have it. You know what I mean? Because that's also really important. But yeah, man. I mean, I feel like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, there's no way that this is it. But I mean, if there's something I'm missing, I'll figure it out like as we go because I'll think of it. I'll talk about it. Like when we were doing the market review today, that's when I remembered I needed to cover the market maker models. Uh, so maybe like in the future things will come up like that. But I'm pretty sure I have everything I need right here. Like I doubt there's anything else I really need. So yeah, man. I mean, this should be pretty sick. I've improved two traders already. I mean, I've improved myself obviously, but I've improved two traders, led them to getting funded. So it's gonna be cool to do it for like 5 people, and then hopefully a ton of people for whoever's watching this. So yeah, man. Like I said, we're probably gonna start it off with a torque compilation. So I mean, I wouldn't want to miss the next episode. Make sure you're subbed. Make sure you got some noties on, bro, because I mean, you're not gonna want to miss it. You guys have been asking me to get oiled up. You've been asking me to throw that gat or whatever that means. It's happening. It's coming. But with that, I will see you on the next one.